Hello friends, this is the InStyle Knitting Studio. Today I will show you how I will sew a lining into this hat with ears. My hat is not fully finished yet, but the lining can already be made. There are many kinds of such hats, and various animals exist. You can simply add some ribbons or something else. But the fact is, many hats like this are crocheted. Mostly, I suppose. Still, a lining is needed. I will make the lining from fleece. I have very warm fleece. I will make a winter hat. And my hat will be in the shape of a bear, a teddy bear. For those interested, I will have a masterclass. Now, how we will sew the lining? I'll say right away I am not a seamstress. I am doing it as I saw on the internet, and I will show you. Maybe it will be just as easy for you. We take the hat and fold it this way, ear to ear. Smooth it out and take a piece of fabric. You can use not only fleece, you can take some cotton jersey or another material. But I like fleece because the edge of the fabric does not need to be finished, it does not fray. So, we take such a piece of fabric. It is just a square for me. We fold it in half so it lies in 2 layers. We put the right side inside. I have this warm fur, which will be against the head. So this will be my right side. We take it inside. After this, we fold our hat like this. Ear to ear, and find where the front is, in the hat. This will be the child's face. So this is our front part. This front part is essential. We apply it this way so that this curve aligns right where the front of the cap is. We place it like this. Everything here should be level. Why is that? Because I don't want a seam at the front. Later, when we sew, you will understand what I mean. Now we take a pencil, a pen, or a marker. Soap, whatever is more convenient. I use soap, the soap piece, and we start outlining. I will outline while adding a bit more, increasing it. That is, I will outline about 1 centimeter larger, because my lining is very warm. I think if the lining is a bit thinner, then ½ centimeter can be allowed. So we shouldn't draw too tightly, but add a little space from the cap. That means to increase, draw slightly larger. Now I will outline everything. And that's it. Then we need to cut it out. We have outlined, now we will cut along this marked line right here. We definitely will not cut, meaning we will cut along our marked line up to this point. We've cut, and we have an unclear shape now. Now we take our cap and fold it like this. Smoothing it out and placing it against this curve, we applied it to this side. And here we outline like this. Next we flip the cap to this side like this, and do the same here. We outline, and here we don't need to add anything. I don't think ½ centimeter is necessary here. We have outlined, now we need to sew this all. How will we sew it? Here we have it. On this side we don't need to sew. That is, we will sew from here to this point. Here, we need to make a smooth transition somehow. I might have cut a bit poorly after all, that is. From this vertical line, we need to smoothly transition over to here. From this point, from our marked line, we sew everything down here. You can sew with a machine or sew by hand. I will sew with a machine here. Nothing needs to be sewn. That is, from this point downward, and from this point over here, we sew everything. I have sewn everything. This is the front of our cap. Now we take our cap like this. We fold what will be our front. We fold it in this way so that the seams are next to one another here. The beginning of one to the beginning of the other. We place the cap like this. We spread it out here and fold it. Next, we take the cap. We fold it like this and apply it in this manner. We align it so that the crown is next to the beginning of our seam. This is how we have evened it out. Next we draw. Here, nothing needs to be offset. We have drawn it, then we turn it inside out like this. The cap as well, roughly like this. We align it in the same way so that the crown is at the beginning of the seam. We have applied it and draw once more. Alright, now we need to sew along these lines. In principle, you can sew in one continuous line like this, a semicircle. Then trim off these little ears. Cut away all the excess here. All done, I have stitched it and trimmed away all these extra parts with scissors. This is how it looks from the top, with the wrong side out like this. That is, my last seam was made exactly like this, without cutting the thread. I have stitched here, lining is ready. After this, we sew it to the cap. Here is my cap. Notice, the lining's front side is here. This is what it looks like. Since my seams are here, accordingly, I take the seams to the wrong side of the cap. Well, probably the main cap. Turn inside out. And to begin, we need to sew the top to the top. That is, we sew it with regular threads and a needle like this. But here we need to ensure that this part is in front. The lining hats and this part is in front. Accordingly, we sew it so that they come together. Here is my seam that goes down. It is at the back. This is the back part of my hat. In this way, I will just sew it with a needle now. We will catch it with a thread, so that when we take the hat off the head, the lining does not pop out. That's it. I have caught a little, and now we simply put the lining on our hat. This is the wrong side. That is, the wrong side to the wrong side, we have put it on. This is the front, this is the back part of the hat. Alright, now there is just a little left. But, in principle, it is a very responsible seam. Now we need to sew the lining here. Discreetly, pulling it a little, but of course, we need to ensure that it goes like this, specifically. Everything is pulled well, as it is, that is how we sew it. There is no need to pull too hard. If it is much shorter than the main hat, because it will pull later. In general, everything is aligned well. I will probably sew it in such a way that these loops come out well, because after we sew the lining, we'll be edging our hat with single crochet, so here, we need to leave this much or even more. Basically, however you want, I will do it like this. Here, I have already started sewing. I sewed at the nape so that my seam on the lining coincided with the seam on the hat. There. I started sewing from the center here at the nape. I attached the ear. Well, here I have about 1/2 centimeter. There are just enough loops for me to edge the hat later. Now I will show you a little how I sew. I don't know, you might have your own secret stitches. For me, due to my lining, it is very warm. Here, you can hardly see anything. So, you can sew it in any way, but this is how I do it. You can take a look, but use your own stitch if you sew better that way. Right now my thread is coming out of my hat. That is, here is my lining to the end. Opposite where the thread comes out, I insert like this from the top into the lining and pull the needle out here. About 1/2 centimeter here like this. I tightened it. Don't pull too tightly, because the hat that will be worn stretches, so we don't pull too tightly. I pulled the thread out here on top. Then I pick up the loops from the hat. Also opposite where my thread came out, I pick up the loops from the hat. And I tighten it. My thread came out from my main hat. Now I take from the top, inserting into the lining. That is, I don't fold it immediately. I hold it like this, place it on my finger, and insert it like this. About 1/2 centimeter, and pull it out here. It automatically folds there when I tighten it. It came out. My thread is from the lining. Here it is. And opposite this spot, I take the loops from the hat. Pick them up like this and tighten, not too tightly. I monitor it like this right away, so that the hat stretches. Next, I again insert from the top into the lining. I pull it up, draw the thread, and then pick up opposite this spot. The loops of the main hat. I don't know, this is how I sew. I say I'm not a seamstress, but I actually like how it turns out. I have sewn like this more than once. And we look, of course, to ensure that everything flows smoothly here. I periodically tighten. And also, I time to time pull it tight as I need, and make this knot in a second one, so I kind of secure the thread. I don't know, it seems to me that securing the thread wouldn't hurt. And then we start again, to sew. I took light grey thread. I had it kind of, well, it's not exactly the same color as the hat, but I think it's still better than just white. This is how it looks on the front side. I won't show any more. This seam is not professional, it's just how I do it. Now I'll sew the entire lining till the end. That's it. We are sewing. All done. We tied it with a knot, the second one. Then I brought the thread to the wrong side and cut it. Well, this is how it should turn out. I'll repeat. When sewing, you need to stretch the main hat, as it will go on the head. It will stretch. Now we will turn it to the front side and see how it will. Look, well, basically, everything looks good. I think I will try it on a child, and it should fit well. Now in this hat, I will make a border and attach ties here, tassels, in principle. It can be left unbound, it looks fine as it is. But in this version, I will knit a teddy bear, so I will bind it here and make tassels, ties, that's all. If I helped you, please like, subscribe, and see you soon, friends.